This is even better than we thought, and the timing could not be more dramatic because just as the calendar inches closer to spring training, the Toronto Blue Jays were suddenly moving like a club that hears destiny knocking at the door. New reporting has cracked the silence wide open, and what looked like a quiet stretch has transformed into a full-blown chess match involving not one, but two major free agent arms, alongside a sneaky signing that has slipped under most fans' radar. Welcome back to Blue Jays News, because today's episode has teeth, tension, and just a hint of chaos. It feels as though the Blue Jays have woken up from a long winter slumber, stretched their shoulders, and decided now is the moment to strike. According to the latest report from John Heyman, Toronto is very much alive in conversations surrounding multiple starting pitchers, and that alone tells you everything about the organization's mindset. This is not a team content with polite competitiveness. This is a front office with World Series ambitions burning quietly behind closed doors. And if you're enjoying this deep dive, take a moment to like the video, share it with fellow Jays fans, and subscribe to Blue Jays News so you never miss what's unfolding. The headline name, of course, still looms like a thundercloud over the league. Max Scherzer is back on the radar, and frankly, it would be more shocking if he wasn't. Scherzer is not just an arm, he's an ideology. He's the embodiment of controlled fury, the sort of pitcher who stalks the mound as if daring the baseball to betray him. For a Blue Jays rotation filled with talent but littered with uncertainty, Scherzer would arrive not just as a starter, but as a living instruction manual. He would teach through presence alone, mentoring younger arms simply by existing in the same clubhouse, and that kind of influence cannot be measured on a stat sheet. Yet the real twist in this story, and perhaps the most intriguing layer, is the growing connection to Zach Gallen. This is where things become even better than we thought. Gallen is not flashy. He doesn't ignite social media with radar gun readings or viral clips. What he does offer, however, is reliability disguised by recency bias. Yes, last season was rough, a bloated ERA, a year he'd probably like to erase, but baseball has a long memory, and just before that stumble were seasons of consistency, durability, and calm efficiency. Gallen eats innings, shoulders responsibility, and quietly stabilizes rotations, which suddenly makes him very interesting for a Blue Jays team juggling more questions than answers. Because let's be honest, certainty is in short supply. Shane Bieber's health remains a mystery. Cody Ponce is still an unfinished chapter. Trey Savage's workload will be carefully managed. Jose Barrios' long-term role continues to hover in limbo. Strip all that away, and the truly dependable pillars are fewer than fans might like to admit. That's why Toronto being active right now matters so much. It signals urgency, it signals awareness, it signals a refusal to gamble the season on hope alone. And just when you think the story has settled into familiar territory, the Blue Jays quietly slide another piece onto the board. Left-handed pitcher Josh Fleming has been signed on a minor league deal, and while this won't dominate headlines, it's the kind of move that whispers rather than shouts. Fleming is 29, experienced enough to know himself, young enough to be molded. He doesn't overpower hitters, he nudges them into mistakes. His numbers won't wow you, but his pitch mix and underlying metrics suggest untapped potential, and in Toronto, that matters. This organization has a habit of turning overlooked arms into contributors, and Fleming now enters that laboratory of possibility. Depth, after all, is not glamorous until you desperately need it. With limited left-handed options in the bullpen, Fleming adds competition, insurance, and intrigue. He may never become a household name, but neither were several relievers before Pete Walker worked his particular brand of alchemy. If you're enjoying this breakdown, don't forget to support the channel by subscribing to Blue Jays News, because stories like this are built on the details. Then there's the quiet financial tension humming beneath everything. Eric Lauer's arbitration case is approaching a decision, and the gap between what he wants and what the Blue Jays have offered is more than just a number. It represents flexibility. It represents options. That $1 million difference could be the difference between standing pat or making one final push for a veteran arm like Scherzer or Gallen. These are the invisible dominoes fans rarely see, but they shape everything. So here we are, on the edge of spring training, with the Blue Jays suddenly surrounded by motion, rumors, and opportunity. This isn't noise for the sake of noise. This feels deliberate, calculated, alive. Let me know what you think about the pursuit of Zach Gallen, the possibility of Max Scherzer in a Blue Jays uniform, and the under-the-radar addition of Josh Fleming. Drop your thoughts below, like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to Blue Jays News for everything that comes next, because this story is far from finished.